Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Gursant Singh here, giving you an update on what the SikhNet kiddies have been up to. Now, just a few days ago, there was an article published on SikhNet, which they called Yogi Bhajan, Mission on the March. Now, this article has been mysteriously deleted by the SikhNet kiddies, and you can see here that it was a glowing article about Yogi Bhajan and about all of his Shiv Shakti yoga and how it's spreading all over the world. Now, my theory is that SikhNet is getting a lot of heat from traditional Sikhs. And this article was written by a Tarlochan Singh, who is a personal assistant to President Giani Zail Singh. And as we know, Giani Zail Singh was the president under Indira Gandhi. And he refused to resign after the attack on the Darbar Sahib. So essentially, he was colluding with Indira Gandhi, much as Yogi Bhajan colluded with Indira Gandhi. You can see him here giving her some gifts. Now, I actually interviewed a Sikh who was with Sant Jarnail Singh Bhadrewali ji in 1984. And he claims that Santji told him that Yogi Bhajan and Indira Gandhi were colluding to assassinate him. So this was right from this Brigadier General, ex-Brigadier General, who is a Sikh, and he lives in California now. And he told me in an interview that Santji told him that Yogi Bhajan and Indira Gandhi were colluding to assassinate him, Santji. So here you can see Yogi Bhajan meeting with Giani Zail Singh. And you can see one of his Yogi Bhajan's secretaries there on the left. So Yogi Bhajan had a lot of political connections, and he continues to have an influence on the Kaltukit, and you can see the Kaltukit ex-Jethedar, we should say, right there at a recent gathering where they were celebrating Yogi Bhajan's 10th anniversary of his death in Espanola, New Mexico. So all these people politically connected with Yogi Bhajan and 3HO, all of Yogi Bhajan's group there. And Yogi Bhajan had a big influence on the 3HO people with all of his funny connections and corrupted practices. You can see Yogi Bhajan practicing these Hindu pujas, which has led to the 3HO people practicing their own pujas there in Rishikesh. You can see there this Hindu wedding that was put on a couple of years back by this Gurmukhar, who was one of Yogi Bhajan's longtime followers. So SikhNet, again, is getting a lot of heat over these newly exposed pictures and connections that are coming out about how Yogi Bhajan colluded with these people that are against Sikhi. They're anti-Sikh, like Indira Gandhi, Giani Zail Singh, and these Hindu RSS people. Yogi Bhajan had all close connections with all of them. And this present Jethedar ex-Jethedar will say. So there you have all these different connections. And you can see how it influences these 3HO people. They had a completely Hindu funeral ceremony for Yogi Bhajan there in Rishikesh. You can see there his family, Yogi Bhajan's family, and then some 3HO people there in the background. How they all came to this completely Hindu funeral ceremony for Yogi Bhajan. And that same Swami up there, right there at the top, he's the head Swami there at this Paramatma Kirtan ashram there. He's in a lot of these pictures. And he has close ties with RSS people. This radical Hindu group that wants to eliminate Sikhs. And they want to make India a completely Hindu nation. There you can see a close-up of that there on the left. Yogi Bhajan giving the Hindu last rites. Now this Jethedar the Akal-Taqat, he came there, like I said, a couple years ago, and he passed right underneath this painting of Yogi Bhajan, which is in the bar of the City Guru Granth Sahib Ji there in Espanola, New Mexico, where SikhNet has its headquarters. And he must have seen that painting there because he was speaking and looking right at it when he was there in Espanola. And that painting shouldn't be there. It's an ugly tantric painting of Yogi Bhajan. It shows the control that he wields over these hapless 3HO followers. Now again, here is that same Swami giving the RSS chief there a book about Hinduism. And let there be no doubt about it, these SikhNet people, these 3HO people have all these ties with these people who are definitely against Sikhi. This Gurmukhar doing these Hindu Shiv Lingam pujas there, and you can see other 3HO people that she carries along with her. She's wearing a tika on her forehead there, which is the eye of Shiva. It's probably hard for you to see in this. Yeah, you can see it there. You can see it right there on the red dot on her forehead there. This is the eye of Shiva, which shows her devotion to the Hindu god Shiva. So these are all practices that Yogi Bhajan spawned by all these connections with these Hindu traitors against Sikhi, traitors against Sikhi. Here you can see how SikhNet promotes that Gurmukhar. It's really shameful how they do that. So SikhNet, I think, is getting a lot of heat about all this. So I think keep your letters and your comments coming to SikhNet about how they need to change. I suspect that they got a lot of letters about that recent article that they deleted. And they've decided to delete it, take it off their main website because there was too much heat about it. Hopefully they'll start to make real changes rather than just take things off their website. Now, I want to point this out, how this is that Jagjit Namdari, who the Namdaris hold as their guru instead of Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And Yogi Bhajan colluded with him and met with him there in Espanola, New Mexico, just around the time that I was living there, actually, in Espanola. Now, the SikhNet people say that there's no one who worships idols there in Espanola, right where the SikhNet headquarters are. And this idol or statue of Baba Sri Chand sits right there by the SikhNet headquarters and is attached to the Gurdwara there in Espanola. And Gurmustik and Garuka say that there's nobody there that worships idols. Well, here's the proof that they do. And see, what SikhNet does is they're very clever about putting these false statements out. And then when somebody comments or criticizes, they delete those criticisms. So with this article that they deleted, they must have been getting so many negative comments against them that they just decided to delete it. They've done that with a couple other articles. So here Garuka is just completely lying. He says, no, white Sikhs don't worship idols. Well, here's the proof. Right here, Garuka. Sikhs do not worship idols. We worship one God, and we bow only before the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji. We do not bow to idols or statues or images of Yogi Bhajan. You can see how the Yogi Bhajan people, they market this whole thing about this Baba Sri Chand being such a great yogi and protecting them, and Yogi Bhajan made up these false, completely false stories about this Sri Chand being tied in with Sikh history and yoga and Kundalini yoga and Tantric yoga and all these things. It's completely false, completely misleading, and this yoga, Tantric, and Kundalini yoga have no place in Sikhism. Yogi Bhajan just made this all up about how Guru Nanak passed on this throne of Raj Yoga and Kundalini Yoga to this Baba Sri Chand, his son, and then he passed it on to Guru Ram Das. This SikhNet people completely deceive yoga students and other Sikhs and have them think that this is the history of the yoga and about Sikhism. It couldn't be farther from the truth. This Sri Chand was rejected by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And in Gurbani it says he was an evil one. And the Sri Chand rejected Guru Nanak, the teachings of Guru Nanak. And Guru Nanak had nothing more to do with him. There's nothing in Gurbani that says anything about him, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, giving this throne of yoga to Baba Sri Chand, or Sri Chand. Nothing in Gurbani about it. Yogi Bhajan has completely made this up to make all of this look mystical and mysterious and something that will appeal to New Age people. And here's how this, Garuka Singh worships her in front of this Baba Sri Chand idol. You can see a close-up of them worshiping there, this Baba Sri Chand idol. They worship there in front of Yogi Bhajan's picture, the Sri Chand idol. This was a video that I took a few years back there, and you can see how that golden statue of Sri Chand is being worshipped. They're putting money offerings in front of it, bowing. You saw that other person bowing to it. It's just like a Hindu mandir. Now, Yogi Bhajan lived a luxurious lifestyle. And I'm thinking that really Yogi Bhajan was just after the money. There's so many Babas now that I've learned about in India and all these people, and this is what they do. They make up this yoga, make it look mystical and magical, and then they sell it. And Westerners are the most gullible people. And so Yogi Bhajan had a stable of Rolls Royces there, and you can see him in Espanola. And he lived a luxurious lifestyle, completely luxurious lifestyle. And then he had his followers worship him and put these big mural paintings. And then the SikhNet people, they censor all. And when I or other people criticize Yogi Bhajan for all of this, you can see again Yogi Bhajan, they're living a luxurious lifestyle. He's sold gems and jewels and wore these expensive fur coats and completely, not something that a Sikh would do. This guy here on the left, this Hari Jivan, I know him quite well for many years. And he was busted, charged with a field of schemes. Just about this time this picture was taken there in Beverly Hills for selling gems to old people and ripping them off. So Yogi Bhajan was very clever, however, because he didn't have any of his names on any of the documents or any of the things that were involved in that so-called, business or scheme. And so he was never charged, Yogi Bhajan, but he would, believe me, he was involved and knew everything that happened in all of these businesses. He was a control freak, essentially. Now you can see here how these Yogi Bhajan people practice this anti-Sikh tantric yoga, touching and going on about this, completely reprehensible to Sikh values and principles. That woman there in the middle is Ekon Karkar. She's one of the lead writers over at SikhNet. And she's the one that puts out this propaganda about how Sri Chand was this king of Raj Yoga and passed on these yogas to Guru Ram Das Ji. Couldn't be farther from the truth. They make this all up again to try to sell their yoga and try to make it look unique and powerful and all these things. And these gullible Westerners they spend literally thousands of dollars on these yoga courses just for complete rubbish. Now this Garuka Singh, he is really a case. He has published this article where he talked about how he took Yogi Bhajan's toenails and fingernails, and you can read all about it in this article, hanging on his fingernails. And I'll put a link to it in the bottom description of this video. He took these fingernails and he put them in his nitnam, his sacred Gutka Sahib. This is surely Biadbi. Garuka is poisoning himself, he's poisoning 3HO with all of these completely Shiv Shakti forms of worship and this worship of Yogi Bhajan. It's just really reprehensible. So this is this director over there, Garuka Singh, if you're not aware of it. He's the director over there at SikhNet. And he's putting Yogi Bhajan's toenails in his nitnam. Just awful, awful. He not only did that, but he put them in some kind of magic locket too, and made some kind of, something for power and everything. He thought these fingernails would bring him a lot of power. That's what Yogi Bhajan told him, actually. So Yogi Bhajan lies to the people there, and he told them that he would bring them all this power, and bring them liberation, all this stuff. These people have been doing this Tantra and Kundalini Yoga for 45 years, and I don't see any of them that are liberated. Now, SikhNet and Gurmustic, Garuka, these other people, they really need to wake up. They're so attached to Yogi Bhajan that they don't see the truth. They've been dancing to Gurbani, they do all these un-Sikh-like things. And Sikhs need to reach out to them, continue to write them, continue to appeal to other Sikhs to be aware of not donating to them. Because their whole agenda is around promoting Yogi Bhajan. You can see here at one of their so-called Khalsa Council meetings, which is really very presumptuous, to say the least, how they promote Kundalini Yoga. You can read right here on the screen. It says, tell your students and friends about this great Kundalini Yoga lifestyle. This is one of their so-called Khalsa Council meetings. They are in Espanola, New Mexico. So don't let them fool you. They do yoga in the Darbar of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. Again, this crook, Yogi Bhajan here, was just into making money. So I'll put a link to this article that was deleted, and you can read about how Yogi Bhajan was colluding with this Giani Zail Singh and Indira Gandhi. And like I said, I think SikhNet was really getting a lot of heat from traditional Sikhs. So we know something's working here with our message of getting out there about how corrupt they are. Well, thank you for your time. And don't hesitate to write me or call me even if you have questions about all of these different videos and messages that I'm putting on the internet. Thank you for your time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.